Okay, so this video is just going to remind you how you fill in a query design template, just the same as the one on my screen. On Moodle, under the Design in a Database folder, Query Template. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is fill in the top bit, what is my query all about. So this one I want to set a task of, I'm going to write a query for all my football players who are a midfielder. So my database is always the same, it's whatever I decided to call my database. In my case I've just called it Footballers Database. Okay, make sure you can see everything on the screen. Query, so it's got my name of my query, I'm helping you there, it's got mine starting QRY, so I'm going to call it Midfielders. And purpose of query, to show all players who are midfielders. So what table am I using? So in my case, again, I've got to make sure I use the same name all the way through my design, and I think I called my table Footballers. Right, along here I'm going to put in all the names of the fields that I need for my query. Now this might be fields that I need to show on the answers, the output, or it might be fields that I just need to run the query. So let's start with the fields that I know I need to run the query. Well, the only thing that I'm pulling out here is if the midfielders. Nothing to do with their age, nothing to do with what team they play for, just the fact that the midfielders. So what field name is midfielders held under? Well, in my case, I've called that field position. So I need to use the field position. Now I'm not including the position in the output because my query is called midfielders, so there's no point on my answer it's saying midfielder all the way down the results. So in the show I'm going to change it to no, I don't want to see the position on the end result, and in that case sorting is not applicable because I'm not going to see it in the answer. So position is the one that I'm running the query on, so what is the criteria? Equals midfielder. Now if on yours, in your data dictionary, if you've put positions as goalie, midfield, left side, then they should say midfield, not midfielder. So it's got to match up exactly the answers that you're expecting. So if I run a query now on the computer, it would show me all the players who are a midfielder. But I want specific fields in my answer. So in my answer, the list, I want to know the player's surname and first name, and these are the fields again that are in my data dictionary. Yours might be different. And again in my output, besides the names of the players, I want to know who they play for. And again in my data dictionary, I've called it team. If you'd called it club, you'd put club there. And that's it. I don't want any other fields in my output. All I want is a list of players' names and the team they play for, and I will know that every one of those is a midfielder. So show, yes, because these are the ones that I want to show on my output. And do I want to sort them? Well, let me have a think. For names, it's never useful to have them sorted really by first name, so no. So I'll delete those words, not sorted. Surname, well, again, yeah, it'd be nice, but initially I want them really sorted by team. So I'm not going to sort it by the surname. Instead, I'm going to sort it by team. So which one am I going to have? Well, ascending would be teams A to Z, Arsenal first, so that's the one I'm going to use. And that's it. So if I use that, ascending, and then because I've not used those, I'm just going to delete those off so it's easy to mark. And that's it, I've designed a query. If you added that into Mark, I will be able to read at the top, okay, I know what this query is all about, correct namings of the objects here, and I can see from this that is not, or she's not including the field position in the query output, but they need it to actually run the query because it's looking at that field and pulling out anyone who's a midfielder. And then once it's found from the records which are a midfielder, these are the three fields that it would show on my output, my results, and I can see I'm going to have a list of three fields, first name, surname and team, and it's going to be sorted in team. And that's it, that's what you'd hand in as a query template.